So
what was the other question, Tyler?
Oh, yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
Tyler.
Okay. So Two Times wants to know what games have you made, and what was the most easy game to make and the hardest game to make, and why?
Hey, I got a follow-up to that one.
I've always played around with I've always been kind of more the idea guy. But I've always been kind of just playing around with ideas. Like, you play through a game, I wanted to go this way instead of this way. Why did they do it this way? From a personal standpoint, I've never really actually made a game until now. Going through the process we're going through now, developing this, playing with different engines and all that, and through school, this is actually the first game I've actually worked on, like, behind the scenes, I guess.
Right. Okay.
So I've always had the ideas, like, they did this all right, but the animation could have been smoother.
Right.
Playing through games, I never actually really did anything like that. 'Cause when I moved out here, I kind of jumped into things.
Right.
So when I really wanted to go into games, I just started reading books, my school books, outside books. I even did research. I did research even on film, because you have to, from like a director standpoint, like how you have this scene, but like how is the camera going to move? Is it going to be smooth, shaky, and all that?
Of course.
And so I really can't answer because I didn't do what Cliffy did and made a game and and it kind of got picked up. It's just like we just started working on this.
You're getting picked up before you even made the game.
Force, does that negate your question?
No. My question is, when you look at games in the market, I would think two of the markets that the most pressure is put on is MMOs and first-person shooters, and that's sort of like big balls. When you say I'm going to do a first-person shooter because that market is so crowded, it really has to stand out. Did you guys ever discuss like a smaller Xbox Live Arcade title or something like that? What made you guys decide? You know what? Screw it, we're going to play with the big boys.
We did think about it. We were playing with the storyline. Like, could we actually make this maybe just like a small arcade game? But we kind of decided that we couldn't do that. And it was just one of those decisions. We started working and started developing this. It's like we're pretty much just playing the big boys. We did announce it as a first-person shooter because we didn't really know what to classify it as, because we've kind of incorporated elements from a lot of genres in it. Right now it's actually more kind of like an action RPG / first-person shooter. Because it kind of.
I love it.
Because
bring them all together.
It's got a lot of elements in it that isn't just, run and gun. Ways that we're designing the level, we're appealing to actually a lot of gamers, where you can play this level stealth and it's going to play out a different way. Personally, I hate playing stealth. Like, I'm sure you do. I've heard that.
I hate some stealth games.
I like to run in there and just kind of get right in the action.
Yeah.
So we've developed the levels where, if you want to stealth it, just run through it, or even kind of a mixture, they play out differently. And so we're really trying to appeal. It's not going to appeal to every gamer. That's impossible.
You've already, right there, that's one of the things, though, is that, like, if I know I'm going to pick up a game that's sheer stealth, then, I won't. There it is. I'll let Force play it, because he loves it. But actually, Force loves the running gun, too, so at least there's a nice. I'm also a fan of, like, having anything diverse or, have any sort of versatility in a game, which sounds a little bit like what you're doing.
Yeah, I've played through Hitman. And I did not like it. I had it on easy and normal, so I could actually shoot people, but on the higher settings, you have to stealth. And so it's just not my type of game.
Right.
It was an all right game.
I'm totally down with that. So I want to, because I know we're starting to run out of time, and we've got some other great questions in here. But before I do, I want to talk a little bit about a real quick and dirty about what it takes to pitch to a publisher. Like, are these meetings 8 days long? Are these like one meeting and then it's all sorts of emails?
How many miles do you have to fly to and fro?
What's the difficulty in getting one?
Yeah, what's the difficulty level?
It's very difficult to get a publisher meeting. We've done a lot of networking where we got kind of like the guys in charge and we're talking to them. There's like the initial process where, all right, you sign an NDA, send us your stuff. We're going to review it and get back to you. And then from there is when you actually set up meetings. So you kind of get from the numbers I could find, you have about a 10% chance of actually getting through that initial screening, and then a 40% chance of funding after that. Because they're still whittled, because like they'll maybe drop down to 20 games that they want, have meetings, and then they'll maybe drop down to 5 for the actual.
Gotcha.
So
it's almost like an interview process.
Yeah, it sounds like a hiring process.
And so we've had one publisher meeting already. I had to fly out for that. But they reviewed our stuff. He said, we love the storyline, we love the gameplay. Can you guys come on this date, for this meeting? It was an hour meeting. But we planned for about 40 minutes. There's distractions, things going on.
Right.
We didn't really want to take up the full hour.
All right.
And we've actually got a few more coming in December too with other publishers.
So it's a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
On top of juggling, game development.
Oh yeah.
All right, that's it. I find it really fascinating because I'm just, and when we get delays and stuff, where I'll just like, oh, fuck you, company, for not, but there is stuff behind it. Sometimes, you game publishers, you know which one I'm talking about. Tell me, is there anything that you feel needs to be like fixed in the industry? Like, we come from obviously a very skewed perspective, or maybe an honest one. I don't know. It depends on how you look at it. But what's your take on it all?
I really think the game industry kind of needs to take a step back and really look at itself, because after talking to like not just publishers but just when games are coming out and just talking to developers, it's really more money based than anything else.
Basically the end user's entertainment.
Yeah, it's really just a big risk assessment. Because developers want to make really good games. We want to have $50 million budgets just to spend 5 years on it. But from a publisher standpoint, they want to keep their jobs, and so they want to kind of invest money in like the for sure thing. Like this will get on the market at some point, and it looks like from this point it's going to make money. But you hear about a lot of games that are in development that they just funding gets pulled.
Right.
I haven't experienced it yet, but there's horror stories you hear about publishers delaying money to developers on milestones. I haven't experienced it yet, but you hear some pretty just. It's all about money right now. Like we only made $1 billion last year. Let's try to make $3 billion.
Right.
And they try to work that and really cut costs as low as you can.
So when you say that they need to take a step back, do you feel like they need to like refocus like what they're looking at in terms of this is an entertainment medium, or
Well, yeah. It's really because you want to develop a really great game, because you really want to shoot for like Game of the Year and have it sell, just, have a lot of sales. And yeah, because a lot of times you'll have to drop out different features or different storyline things because you just don't have the money for it, or you might have, the release dates coming up and you really have to crunch for it. And you get a lot of work done when you're in the crunch, but it really hurts the process too when, all right, well, we're going to release this in 6 months. We're going to have to cut this, and this out, even though it would have been cool features.
Right.
And so it really...
So let me ask you this, because like from that perspective and how the development works out, do you feel like there's actually any purists left in the, like, do you feel like, and I don't mean to put you on the spot and say, yeah, I think this company is basically doing it, but do you feel like it is truly all driven by money, or do you feel like there's actually I feel like this company at least makes an effort to...
No, it's not entirely driven by money, because one of the things that we did when we were starting the company is that we wanted to make really high quality games that you see a preview for it, and we go play the game, or if for like a film, you see the film, it's actually better than what you think it's going to be.
Right.
Different companies like Epic Games or Blizzard Entertainment or Valve, like when they release a game,